Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to join you today to talk about this really important topic and this really fun topic, which is how to get promoted in today's remote workplace. My name is Debbie Madden. I am a founder, a chairwoman, a CEO, an author, and a board member, and we'll get into all that in a little bit. But first, I really want to talk about why we're here, right? Technology, my screen just skipped ahead. The problem is, the reason why we're talking about this today, because 95% of companies are going hybrid. Now that number is going to change, it's going to ebb and flow, it's going to go up and down, but the reality is the way we worked 2 years ago has shifted for at least the next several years, right? So less in-person time, less collaboration, less whole teams in one room, right? So that's a problem. Yet, all of us, we as workers, as employees, want our efforts to be recognized and rewarded. We still want to get that promotion. We still want to get that raise. We still want to be on that special project. We still want to learn new skills, right? None of that has changed. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, right? So the answer, sneak peek ahead to the rest of this talk, is the way to get ahead in the workplace today, whether you're remote, whether you're in person, or whether you're hybrid, is to really be proactive so that you personally can have a hand in evolving the recognition and the reward systems to meet the needs of a remote workforce. And I'm going to talk with you today about exactly how to do that. So I promised you to get back to a little bit about who I am, and I want to do that now that we've kind of set the stage for why we're here. So again, my name is Debbie Madden. I'm a tech entrepreneur, a board member, and an author. So tech entrepreneur, I've been starting and scaling product and services companies for 26 years. I'm currently the founder and chair of Stride Consulting. We are an agile software consultancy in New York and Chicago, but really remote. We've got employees all over the US, like many folks these days. We work with companies ranging from Series A funded startups through enterprise to help you become high functioning inside the code and out by delivering working software with you, for you, and really teaching best practices in software delivery. I'm a board member and advisor for many, many companies, including I'm an advisor for Docker, and I'm an author of the book Hire Women. Before I go any further, I really want to talk with you about why I have my email address on here, which most people gloss over. I am not only getting to talk with you in a two-way conversation, but I don't get to see your face right now. So I don't know much about you. And so I really encourage you to reach out to me, not only on the face-to-face after this, but email me. If you have questions about anything I'm talking about, if something comes up in your work and you're like, okay, you said that thing, but I don't know how to implement it, email me. We'll schedule a 30-minute conversation. We'll really dig in to how to apply the stuff to your particular situation at that particular time. So please contact me afterwards. Okay, so here's the agenda, right? How to get promoted. There's 4 things. It's a 4-step process, and we are going to have lots of time after this talk to do questions. So whether you want to add them in Slack now or old-fashioned pen and paper, get those questions ready. So it starts with helping others, then it goes into giving and receiving feedback, getting mentors, and finally knowing the process. All right, so step 1, help others. And it's a funny thing. I'm going to get promoted by helping others, right? Yeah, that is a very big, important part of helping, getting promoted. So before we go into helping others, I want to say what we're talking about today is really changing the lens through which your coworkers see you, right? So if you did none of this, what I'm about to tell you today, you show up for your job, right? Whether that be 9 a.m., 10 a.m., wherever you are in the world, and you do your job that you're hired to do, coding, product, leadership, whatever that job may be. Your coworkers, your peers, your boss, the person in charge of the promotion is going to see you through one particular lens, and a narrow band of people in your company are going to be able to see your skill set. If you do these things that I tell you and advise based on, 30 almost years of being running consultancy companies. I have hired, retained, promoted thousands of software engineers, thousands of folks in the tech industry over my career. And since I've been running services companies, I've seen this done at some of the biggest companies in the world, right? Stride's clients include Spotify, Peloton, New York Times, IBM, AIG, the list goes on. I've seen this stuff work. This is based on real firsthand experience. If you do these things, you're going to broaden the perspectives of how your coworkers see you, right? And that is going to lead to seeing you in different lights, you behaving with different groups of people, you behaving under different circumstances, and that is going to lead to a quicker promotion. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first thing is helping others. So this goes back to Jerry Maguire, help me help you, right? I love that. I love that saying. I say it all the time, right? If you look at this Venn diagram at the bottom of the screen, the more you can know your boss's goals and align your goals with her or his goals, the better you're going to help your organization succeed. And that is going to help you get promoted, right? So it's not enough to just know what your boss's goals are. It's really important to write them down, make sure they're as measurable as possible, and proactively help your boss. So if your boss's goal is to grow the team, by how many people, by when? If your boss's goal is to get a certain number of features out, which features, by when? If your boss's goal is to increase ARR or increase number of users on your system or decrease bugs, again, let not only yourself, but your team know, okay, these are the goals of the team, and this is how I'm going to help. Don't wait for someone to come and ask you for help, but say, okay, I know this is a goal of the team. Let's say we want to increase, release this feature in the next month. Okay, I may not have the skills to do it myself, but I'm going to once a week, once a month, check in. How are we doing towards that goal? What can I do to help not only increase my own skills, but help others work together as a team to increase that goal? Critically important. If you do this, you will be well on your way to really being seen as a valued member of your team. And that is what, in part, helps get promoted. All right. So other ways to help others, in addition to really aligning yourself and kind of like drafting behind your boss's goals, form groups. This could be anything. This could be technical. This could be non-technical. Get people together in your organization to talk about and move forward things that align to the company's OKRs, to the company's objectives. It could be an anti-racist working group. It could be a Python group. It could be a how do we improve our interview process group. It could be how do we increase mentorship at our organization. It could be a group of 2 people, 100 people. You can meet once a quarter. Really, like, it doesn't have to be, these things are not time intensive, but they're so impactful. Again, if you are the person that formed the Python working group, let's say, for example, in your organization, people will take note of that. Your boss will take note of that. Your coworkers will take note of that, right? Your CEO will take note of that. This is an interesting one that a lot of junior members of teams that I've worked with and on miss. Hold office hours. It is a myth that you have to be a CTO to hold office hours. Everybody can hold office hours. And what this looks like is say, hey, I'm going to once a month, once a week, once a quarter, again, whatever cadence works for you, put a time on my calendar to talk about this topic. And it could be a dual office hours. You don't even have to be the one providing the advice. So it's kind of a take on the group, right? But if anyone wants to ask me questions about this topic or ask each other, you can hold office hours and bring experts into that office hour, really creating a space for people to learn and ask questions. And then we'll talk more about mentors later because I can't overstate this enough, the importance of mentors. But again, you do not have to be a 20-year veteran to be a mentor. I really believe in this idea of 1,000 mentors. And the more you can mentor and be mentored, then we create this ecosystem of teaching and learning. And that's how we all kind of level up. So again, you can mentor people through office hours. You can also put it out there, email a group, your company, put something out on Slack. Hey, I'm trying something out. I want to see if I can increase my mentor skills and in turn help others. So if anyone wants to either learn how to be a mentor, we can have a book club, read a book about, or a Slack post or a blog post or anything about how to be mentors. Again, invite speakers, form groups. I mean, these are all kind of different takes on the same way of helping your company. And there's so many more. This is just to spark your curiosity. How can you be seen in your organization as someone that helps others? Again, if you have questions about this, we'll take them at the end, but feel free to jot them down now. All right, so now you're seen as a person in your organization that helps others. Again, you don't have to be helping every single person every day, all the time, but rather it's something that you're known for. You're a go-to person, even if it's not in the ways that we talked about. Oh, I have a question about this. I'm going to go to this person. I want to start a group. This person's done that before, right? Really kind of get known as a person that gets people together to learn and move forward. So now we're going to drill into that a little bit and how you are going to become an expert at both giving and receiving feedback. And it has to start with receiving feedback, because I've worked with dozens and hundreds and thousands of technologists in my career, and the people that really are able to receive feedback, regardless of where they are in their career, are the ones that get ahead. And so this requires you to be humble. You have to be able to look inward to say, all right, I know a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't yet know. All right. So how do you receive feedback? You can write many talks on this. So this is going to just be tip of the iceberg. So first, you have to know what your goals are, right? What are your top priorities, right? And it goes back to the slide we talked about at the beginning. Ideally, you're laddering up to your bosses and your organization's priorities, right? So if your top priority is to increase your knowledge in a tech skill, learn a new technology language, increase your knowledge of test-driven development, continuous deployment, tools like Kubernetes and Docker, whatever your goals are, make them very clear. And same thing as I talked about before, ladder up to your boss, write them down and make them measurable, and proactively follow up, right? And you do this by scheduling feedback sessions. Again, don't wait for someone to come to you and say, oh, it's time for your review. Don't wait for someone to come to you and do, hey, so for the last 6 months, you really haven't been, doing the things we wanted you to do to get promoted. So you're not going to get a promotion for another year. Like, don't be that person that finds out when time has wasted. Don't waste time here. The theme of this talk is be proactive, get in there, do things constantly. And this is going to be measurable, and you will see these outcomes. So understand what your priorities are. Have 1, 2, or 3. More than 3, and it's too much. Ideally, ladder up to your boss's goals and your company's goals, and then schedule those feedback sessions. Now, here's the thing. You can schedule monthly feedback sessions via one-on-ones, which many of us already do. But what many people don't do is make them 360-degree feedback sessions, right? Go out to coffee or virtual coffee with a peer, someone that is the best way to get a unique lens on your performance. If you're on the tech team, and you have anything at all to do with the business side, marketing, sales, recruiting, ask someone that you work with once in a while for a feedback session. And you can make it a bilateral. I'm going to give you 2 pieces of feedback, and you're going to give me 2 pieces of feedback. The more you can kind of create these systems where there's fly loops, not only within, again, your core team, your core job, but other departments in your company. Now, all of a sudden, you're creating, like, if I were to do this, I'd be creating these little pockets of like Debbie Madden champions, right? Everyone in your organization is going to have this interaction with you. And they're going to be able to give you this lens into yourself and really give you shortcuts. Right? Everyone has something to offer. And if you can learn how to write code better from somebody, how to communicate better from somebody else, how to be persuasive and negotiate from someone else, these are all shortcuts to ladder up as quickly as possible. So now that you know how to receive feedback, giving feedback is another side of this coin. Now, it's not just, any type of feedback. You want to be known as a person on your team, in your org, that gives useful and thoughtful feedback. Okay. And so, sorry about that. My button got stuck. Again, 360 degrees. This is give feedback to your peers, to people on your team. I can't tell you, one of the things that people miss 90% of the time is giving positive and, more importantly, negative feedback up the food chain, right? So I'm the founder and CEO of Stride. So there's 80 people in my company. Some of them I've worked with for 8 years. Some of them just started last month. Every single time someone new gets hired, I say to them, listen, I don't only encourage you or want you to give me feedback, but I expect you to give me feedback. And so the people that do that are some of my most trusted advisors, whether they've been working for 1 month or 20 years. And it's not this like broad, oh, I hate this thing. It's like, no, this thing that you said, I didn't understand it. It was confused me, or it seemed to contradict something you said 3 months ago, or I didn't quite understand how I was impacted by this thing you said, right? Write down your thoughts, your curiosities, and your insights. Bring those to people in your organization, whether that be ask people for a 30-minute conversation, have a Slack conversation, have an email message, one-on-one in groups. The more you can be known again as that person that has those insights and those ideas, right? Feedback can be ideas. Hey, our companies are trying to hire more people and the talent market is really tight right now. Here, I have an idea. I have 3 ideas on low cost, high impact ways that we can do this. If you bring those ideas to your founder, to your CEO, to your boss, that is going to pay dividends for you. And then the last thing here, very easy way to give feedback, is celebrate other successes. Give a shout out. Hey, this person went above and beyond. Email someone's boss and CC them. Hey, I just really felt compelled to talk about how this person lived the values of this organization by doing A, B, and C. Just wanted to give them a shout out. Critically important and key to yourself getting promoted. All right, I have to talk about FaceTime. If you're going to take one thing away from this entire talk, here it is. FaceTime is not and will never be dead. FaceTime is not and will never be dead. The whole thing we talked about at the beginning is 95% of companies are going hybrid. The thing that people miss is there are 2 different types of productivity, and they are not the same. There is individual productivity, and then there is team productivity. Okay, so now we have people living all over the world, working largely like this, via Zoom. We do not want to necessarily go back to being in the office 5 days a week. Some people do not want to go back into the office ever again. Some people want to go some of the time. Regardless of whether you are in the office 5 days a week or 0 days a week or somewhere in between, if you have not seen anyone from your company in the last month, write yourself a note directly after this conversation. Go find a way to meet someone in your organization in person. Now, you can say, but I'm across the world, but I'm in a different time zone. My whole company's over here, I'm in there. You don't have to go see them tomorrow, but really understand that team productivity, when something needs to be highly collaborative, highly innovative, when we're whiteboarding, when we're trying to solve complex problems, when we're really getting to know each other, which is really a complex problem. Where do you get your energy from? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What's going on for you personally? When we're really trying to get to know each other and build community, whether that's to get to know each other personally or achieve professional goals, there is no second substitute to in-person communication. So please get together with your coworkers, do sprint planning, go for a walk together, fly across that country once a year if you have to, have someone fly to you. Really, I can't state this enough, in-person FaceTime is not and will never be dead. And I think that is something a lot of companies have gone fully remote or hybrid, not because, here's the thing, not because we all think that remote work is better for team productivity. We're all going hybrid because we think it's better for employee happiness, for morale, which leads to retention, right? The world has been through a lot and we are still going through a lot, and being in person right now and for the future is not feasible, but it doesn't mean that working over Zoom is better for the team than being in person. So if you want to get promoted, this is a key component. FaceTime, whether it's once a week or once a year. I really encourage you to do this. And if you can't figure out how to do this, again, that's where you email me, debbie@stridenyc.com. I'm so passionate about this topic. I could create a whole nother talk on it. All right, let's move on because I could stay here forever. All right, so next piece, I want to just go back to this slide. All right, my board is sticking a little bit. Here we go. Get mentors, right? So as many mentors as you can as possible, but at minimum, one mentor that is a coworker and one mentor that is a non-coworker, okay? Your coworker can be anybody in the organization. They don't have to be more senior to you. They can be more junior to you. It doesn't really matter. They could be at the company for a week, 20 years, doesn't matter. Get a mentor, ask someone, hey, I'm looking to get a mentor. Can we try it for 3 months and see if we both get value out of it? You should get value out of it, and the mentor should get value out of it as well. And then at least one non-coworker mentor. I mentor to many. And if you want me to be your mentor, ask. And you know, if I can fit into my schedule, I will. I love being a mentor. I get tons of value out of being a mentor. I find it's good to switch up your mentors. So often I'll mentor someone for 6 months and then they'll rotate to somebody else. Once you get these at least 2 mentors and maybe more, again, now you know what your boss's goals are because we've done that at the start of this talk. You know what your goals are because you have identified them and you've written them down and they're specific. Now you share your goals with all of your mentors, and then you ask your mentors for specific help to achieve your goals, identify your gaps, and identify blind spots. So what I like to do is I like to have one big thing that I'm working on every quarter. So I'm a board member. I'm an advisor for Docker. I run the board of my company, Stride. I'm on the board of a nonprofit. I'm on the board of I'm a CEOs Against Cancer for the American Cancer Society. I do lots of things regarding board and advisory work, but this wasn't always the case because I've been executive, CEO, and operator my whole career. So when I wanted to take on board seats, I wrote that down and it was very specific. Last year, I wanted to get 2 board seats by the end of the year. And so I put that out to my network. My mentors inside my organization, my mentors outside my organization. It was very specific, 2 board seats by the end of 2021. And then I asked my mentors help achieving this goals, identifying gaps and identifying blind spots. And I learned so much that I was able to kind of crowdsource that feedback. And I did achieve that goal. And it was really thanks to this practice right here. And then this, again, goes back to what I said about giving feedback up the food chain. Really, I would encourage you to meet with senior members of your company to ask for help and provide insights to them. When you meet with senior members of your company, as well as all mentors, always have an agenda. Never go into a mentorship meeting saying, hey, what do you want to talk about today? The people that I mentor, literally, you can see them making progress in their career. You can see them getting promoted. You can see it's almost like lightning speed. The people that bring to the mentor sessions, these are the 2 or 3 things that I need your help with today. And they don't walk away from the mentor session unless they have clear action items for those 2 or 3 things. So really be prepared for these mentor sessions and you will get so much out of them and it would help you get promoted. We talked about this earlier, bring insights and ideas to your senior members as well. That's critically important. Okay, last thing, know the process. And then we do have some good time for questions, which is great. Okay, so ask yourself, think to yourself, do you really, really know how to get a promotion in your company? Whether your company is a startup, whether it's an enterprise, can you ask for promotion yourself? Do you have to be referred by someone? Is it only every January? Is it only when you get your performance review? And is that once a year or twice a year or other? Is it anytime throughout the year? What are the salary bands? Can you ask for a raise, but only to the next salary band? Can you ask for an off-cycle raise? where in your company is this stuff written down, or is it just hearsay, right? Really understand. And if you don't understand this, then you don't know the goalposts. You're not gonna be able to get promoted efficiently, right? Many people get promoted eventually in their time, but now we're talking about you're working remotely for most of your team most of the time. You're not privy to being in the office. You can ask your head of HR, your boss, whenever you want. Oh, how does that promotion process work? You really need to know, how do you ask for promotion or raise, and where is it written down? If it is not written down, you go advocate and get it written down. Your whole company will thank you. I promise you that. Who are the improvers and who are the recommenders? Those could be the same people, or those could be different people, all right? So the recommenders could be your mentor, your manager, your boss, anybody in the company. You might be able to recommend yourself promotion. You might not be able to. And then very important, who approves this promotion, right? Do managers have the authority to approve promotions? Maybe managers have the authority to approve from mid-level developer to senior developer, but not then to team lead or VPE. So really you have to understand the nuance. Even if you're 2 or 3 steps away from various promotions, critically important to understand the entire food chain. Also, what if you want to change departments in your company? How do you do that, right? Maybe you want to move into sales or business development or marketing or HR, whatever, right? From software engineering to product, how do you do that? And then, what skills do you need to have? And we all know this by now, but, really it's nice to have your personal goals that, again, ladder up to your boss's goals, that ladder up to your company's goals, really directly related to skills you need to have in order to get promoted, right? These skills are going to be hard skills and soft skills, right? Soft skills are you good at mentoring others? Do you have proficient communication? Are you able to speak with clients if that's part of your job? Again, I'm beating a drum here, but it's so important. So just to recap, how to get promoted in today's remote workplace, whether you are remote all the time or in a hybrid, or even if you do go back to person in the future, these skills are going to, again, it's shortcuts, it's getting promoted with efficiency, because that's what it's all about. Leveling up your career as quickly as possible, help you achieve the impact that you're looking to achieve and the outcomes that you're looking to achieve. So it starts by helping others, then being humble enough to receive feedback, and then giving useful and thoughtful feedback, getting a small handful of mentors both inside your org and out, and really understanding the nuances of the process by which you are able to get promoted. So that's all I've got today. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I know Chad is coming back in, and we can either do questions here if anyone has them, or we can go to the face-to-face, and Chad, you can help direct us from here.
Yeah, definitely. So we have one question from Jeremy. I'm going to post it on our chat as well, but I'm going to read it out loud for everyone. So he asks, is there, okay, let me just pull up.
Yeah, I see it right here and I can read it. So Jeremy wants to know. Yeah, no, I can read it. So would you recommend utilizing forms or ways to have members of teams submit anonymously for feedback? So this is an amazing question. And again, we could talk for hours about this. If you have more questions, really do email me, Debbie@stridermyc.com after this. But everybody has their own style and comfort and courage of communication, right? Some people are very chatty and feel totally confident raising their hand in a group setting, taking and giving feedback. Others get terrified and very scared of this notion, and really want to learn, but want to do it in a safe, quiet, kind of off to the side way. And so a forms or any other anonymous tactic is a very good way for people to provide anonymous feedback. If you have a Google Doc where people could drop feedback, you might have names attached to that. If you have like some sort of a system where there, like you said, forms, or it could be someone can email one central person and that person can then anonymize feedback. If we're talking about ways to effectively communicate that feed into this giving and receiving feedback, the key is to allow different types of communicators, introverts, extroverts, people that are more senior in their career, people that are good advocates and poor advocates, equal voice to have that chance to balance empathy for others and advocacy for yourself. And so if you can kind of think of ways to give people different ways to give feedback, one tactic that I really love is to put a time frame on feedback after a conversation. So let's say you were in a meeting, whether it be a town hall or a group meeting, you notice some people are quiet and some people are more chatty. You might say, okay, over the next 48 hours, I'm going to be collecting feedback. You could leave it open-ended. You can have specific prompts. Everyone provide me with your feedback, and I'm not going to take action or make a decision until I give everybody, because some people need time to sleep on it and then they do their best thinking the next day. And so any way that you can create a rainbow of ways for people to communicate. Again, if you are at the center of this and you are continuously hungry and curious to learn and proactive, that is going to lead to you being seen through different lenses by so many people in your org to get that promotion. So thank you, Jeremy, for that feedback and that question. Are there any others at this time?
Yes, we have one more from Jurgen. So he asked,
Okay.
would you give feedback proactively or only when asked for feedback? So I'm
so thank you so much for that question. And this is one of the things that I feel very passionate about is proactively. 100% my answer is proactively. And again, if you are comfortable or uncomfortable doing this, regardless, I still encourage you to proactively give feedback, right? And this is, we had a slide, useful and thoughtful feedback is the key, right? And so feedback can be positive, negative. You can bring ideas to people. You can bring insights to people. And you could ask permission. You say, hey, I really have a question about X, Y, and Z. Are you okay with me giving you feedback? I really don't understand X, Y, and Z. Can I ask you some questions? If they say no, that's unfortunate. You would follow up with, okay, who is the best person for me to go to with this question? And even if they don't answer that question, there's other people in your organization. Really understand where you can. There's always more than one person, even if it's ideally start with the person that the content is coming from, the person that's making the decision that you don't understand, that you love, that you hate, that scares you, that confuses you. Start with the person. You want to minimize the game of telephone. So I think this person said that. You want to always try to go directly to the source. If for some reason that person is unwilling or unable to give you the feedback, then don't rest. Proactively go and give it to somebody else. And then another kind of rabbit hole that I'm opening here is, if you are in a toxic team, a toxic environment where this is not, some people say, I can't do it. My team, I just have to keep my heads down and this would never fly here. If you are in a toxic culture that does not support safe feedback, then maybe it's not the right place for you, right? Maybe it's time to go find another team to be on, another job, right? That is certainly, I'm not encouraging you to throw in the towel. I'm encouraging you to try and be that leader, that change you want to see in the world. And if that's not possible, then you have to just come to terms with, maybe I need to move to another organization where this type of feedback is encouraged. Because I could tell you from firsthand experiences that many teams are very, very supportive of proactive feedback. So thank you for that question.